get into our first speech with Miss Sarah Marie Curry.
You guys like my improv mind, thank you. Hello. I'm going to be speaking about spiritual practice in improv. I want to discuss the ideas and philosophies I nurture as a teacher, director, performer of improvisational acting. Namely, how I think improv is a spiritual art form and the connections I've made in my life about that. I think that humans are three basic parts, mind, body, and spirit. The body is apparent and knowable for the most part. The mind is used and stimulated aggressively in our society. The spirit is tricky and personal and sensitive and unknowable except by direct personal experience. So thank you for listening to my best attempt at all of this. Thank you for your humor and your patience and for calmly listening to something that you may not agree with or like at all. These are my thoughts as I've collected and connected them together. It's an honor to share them with you. So I've got three major thoughts today: meditation, vulnerability, equanimity, and a little tiny bit about service. Meditation helps improv. This guy, Thich Nhat Hanh, wrote a book called You Are Here, and he said the following: "The heart of the Buddhist practice is to generate our own presence in such a way that we can touch deeply the life that is here and available in every moment." The verb to be means to generate your own presence. You must be here with your body and mind united. This is a very important concept in Buddhist meditation. Buddhism teaches a method of doing this, such as mindfulness of breath meditation. In improv, I think this works to get out of your head, practice meditation. How to take a mindful breath. You do this while you're breathing in. You go, breathing in, I am breathing in. And then breathing out, I am breathing out. You attach that thought to the feeling of the breath leaving your lungs and coming back in. And when you sit for meditation, you do this. You focus on only this clear, mindful breathing, but that's not all. Thoughts inevitably come in because fuck you if you can meditate and not have a single thought run through your head. Meditation, as I understand it, is the act of seeing your thoughts as they arise and watching them go. Using breath as a focal point, we can more clearly see thoughts as they arise, and we can mindfully let them go. This awareness creates space and lengthens the immediate moment, and it slows time. How this helps improv is heightened awareness. This is a method of slowing down time to the immediate moment, increasing maximum response ability. Everything in the scene can be used as an access point for inspiration, but you have to be able to see it. So I want to do a little experiment right now, and the listeners at home can too. I want us all to close our eyes and do that thing that I just talked about. Breathing in, I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I'm breathing out. For like 20 seconds, I want us to just see if we can all watch our thoughts as they come into our head and see if we can watch the thought before it becomes a thought, watch it actually coming into our brain. Will you guys try that with me real quick? Yeah? Okay, ready, everybody? Here we go. Okay. The improviser does the same thing in the scene. In essence, we become the watcher of the scene. That watching thought that we did in the meditation, the observer of the things coming in and out. The improviser becomes that when they allow the character to exist organically and honestly on stage. The character becomes a part of the ongoing drama while we, the improviser, become the observer. Ideally, when we do this, we as players can take much more delight in letting the bad things happen and fully exploring and committing to the character's natural story and arc. I think this is because our ego is not tied up in what will people think of me. We know that this is just a moment and a character and a story, and it's not real, just as Buddhists do or try to do in life. This life is just a character in a moment, and the universal truth is that we are a part of the whole. We're just energy, the nature of unborn awareness. Have you ever done a brilliant scene, and I mean a really brilliant scene, like the best fucking scene you've ever done, only to walk off stage with the feeling that you weren't there? You were just in the back of your mind, sitting in an armchair, enthusiastically watching yourself play? I think we get much better at listening when we practice meditation. Mick Napier in Improv said, "Mere listening tells me nothing of what I have to do. Listening as a way to respond to given information through my character is a whole different thing. I listen so that I can respond to the operative information my partner supplied for me and filter it through my own character for a response." Because of this deep listening, this heightened awareness, we start to see what's going on in here. I'm pointing to my brain. We see our panic or our nervous energy being on stage, our desire for perfection. To be able to see and accept this stuff takes the unconscious hook out of it. By hook, I mean that sticky feeling of getting strung along by our emotions. Our out of control unconsciousness, we're unaware that we have another option other than to get incredibly panicked or furious or what have you. You have to see something to be able to accept it. You can accept the gift if your panic is making you flail your arms. You can't accept the gift if your panic is making you flail your arms wildly about in the scene, swatting every offer away as you blindly try to tread the waters of comedy. You take a mindful breath and you float. Soph Ronan likes to yell, "Quit rushing to the next thing that you don't know." I think we rush because of this great feeling of panic and insecurity that the present moment is going to fail. It's very vulnerable. So, vulnerability. Practice vulnerability to become more honest and funnier. Brené Brown, in her TED Talk on vulnerability, said the following: "We all know that feeling. I'm not enough. I'm not funny enough, clever enough, beautiful enough, smart enough, etc." The thing that underpinned this was the excruciating vulnerability, the idea of, in order for a connection to happen, we have to allow ourselves to be seen, really seen. And if we're here and present and seeing, then we too are seen. If I'm seeing you, you're seeing me. Ooh. Pema Chodron said, "To the degree that we look clearly and compassionately at ourselves, we feel confident and fearless about looking into someone else's eyes." Back to Brené again. She found that the difference between people who are able to be seen, to be vulnerable, to have a strong sense of love and belonging, and the folks who struggle for it, the folks who are always wondering if they're good enough, those people that have a strong sense of love and belonging believe that they are worthy of love and belonging. That's it. They believe that they're worthy. So, improv tactic that ties this all together for me is being vulnerable, is doing the thing that you really want to do in the scene, that inspiration over obligation thing that we talk so much about. I think it's really hard to do that for two reasons. One, we haven't practiced listening to our thoughts. We don't actually know the sound of inspiration in our heads. Meditation, right? Two, we're very uncomfortable showing the world the things that turn us on as individuals, that delight us, that we nerd out about, right? I'm here to tell you that the audience responds to honesty. I read in the Physical Comedy Handbook by Davis Ryder Robinson that true play comes about by actors seeing, hearing, and reacting fully to each other. Honestly and fully responding, being fully present, fully open to the world around us, instead of our idea of what the scene or we could, should, would be, the ability to see and accept what is right now. Like me, right now, giving a speech about a thing. Feeling super vulnerable because there's a voice in my head that's always shouting to be perfect. I want you to think that I'm smart and inspiring, and I'm scared, I'm not captivating, and that I'm offending you. More to the point, that my ideas are droll and pathetic. I think the patch for all of this for me is the Buddhist concept of equanimity. In the simplest terms, equanimity is the thought that everything is perfect right now, already. The question, why did that bad thing happen? Because it's the experience of right now. In improv terms, the bad show is the show that shows you exactly what you need to work on, which is perfect. How glorious is it to accept that this is exactly where you need to be, and the offer your partner gave you was just the thing that the scene needed to say yes without judgment. It's epically glorious. The improv greats do this. Jill Bernard does this every time. Everything is the perfect thing. How do we mere mortals do that? We practice. It's not a light switch that you just flip. It's just another practice. How do we get better at improv? We watch it and we do it and we rinse it and we repeat it again and again and again and again. And it's the same thing with equanimity. It's just another rep in a long and infinite line of repetitions. But how? Here are a few mental qualities to practice from Gil Fronsdale at the Insight Meditation podcast. Number 1, integrity. When we live and act with integrity, we feel confident about our actions and words, which results in equanimity of blamelessness. Honestly doing the best we can with the situation that we have right now and accepting that. 2, the sense of assurance that comes from faith. Brene Brown, who did that talk on vulnerability a moment ago, well, she did it a while ago, but I mentioned it a moment ago. She mentioned religion as nurturing the belief and faith in mystery, which is really cool if you think about improv as the faith and trust that when I come out with an offer and you come out with an offer and we connect, something happens and neither of us have any idea what it's going to be exactly, but if we say yes to it, we are going into the unknown together. Mystery. Number 3, a well-developed mind. All this stuff is great, but you have to study improv. You have to go to class. You have to trust the work that you're doing, and you have to continue to do the work. 4, a sense of well-being. We can cultivate this in our daily life. It's as simple as taking your time to enjoy a cup of tea or coffee or topo, a game of words with friends on your phone. It's being aware of what you are doing and saying, isn't this nice? If you're like me and you tend to wake up with a deep sense of foreboding and are prone to panic attacks, start with, I am okay. True story, because I watched this on the Pacific. When a soldier is in the shit and they're being bombed and they don't know if they're okay, right? They freak out and they think that they're blown up. A Marine will grab another Marine in a bear hug and say, you're okay, man, you're okay, you're okay. To remind them they are relatively, with the war and everything, okay. All limbs are intact. Breathing in, I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I'm breathing out. And number 5, compassion. To be present for whatever is happening without the mind or the heart, with the mind and the heart without resistance. In The Lazy Man's Guide to Enlightenment, which is my favorite book, he simply says, love. Love yourself as much as you can right now. Try to love yourself for feeling like shit, for having a hard time. Love right now, even if you don't like it. You're human. You're learning. When we work on equanimity, we become more accepting of ourselves, and because of that, we become more accepting of others. When we practice not trying to change ourselves into a perfect person, when we get better at allowing other people to be on their own journey too. I like to think about this in the improv scene, about how delightful it is to allow that asshole character to be an asshole, to give them fuel, right? To point at their bad behavior without telling them to change is a great joy in the scene. Also, when I think about this one, I try to pretend that I'm the dude from The Big Lebowski in the scene where Jesus is talking some mad bowling shit. The dude doesn't tell Jesus to stop. Jesus is just, he's fucking hilarious. And the dude just says, yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man. And Jesus just keeps going. In service to the work, I'll end on this. I think the most kind and honorable thing we can do in this art form is to just get out of the way. Get out of the way of what the scene should be and what we want our audience to see. Our audience is very smart. You are very smart. They can see us, all of us. And the thing that we're trying to hide, I think that they want to see that thing. In that physical comedy book that I mentioned earlier, Davis mentions that the audience can see insecurity on stage like we can smell rotting fish in a room. Part of us wants to be attractive and perfect and hilarious. A part of us wants to be the single best, all alone, on our own, superior performer on stage. But the great show, not the good show, the great show isn't about the individual, unless it's a one-woman show. The best show is perfect because its imperfections are treated as perfect offers. And every offer is seen and used as precious material, the whole buffalo. It's when my desire for the individual, unconnected glory takes a back seat and I become focused on being of service to seeing and responding truthfully to the show as it's happening right now, that it becomes a great show. Where I come from, when my anxiety is out of control, I think about service work to alleviate the pressure in my brain. If anything, this is a way to get out of my own way and let the work happen. And I don't know where that comes from. I don't know why I love all of this, but I know that I do. Why can two people sit on stage, just sit on stage, make eye contact, and just be present for each other? Why, when they do that, can we already see a story and a connection between them? Because something is happening all of the time. And I didn't make it, and you didn't make it. We both showed up for each other and pointed at the thing. Awareness and acceptance. It's this great mystery. It's the great why of the human condition. Why do we laugh at that? I think it's kind of perfect for what we do. Thank you.